This is Victoria Dumba. She's another one of the graduates from the School of the Museum of Fine Arts. She's an artist here at South Boston Open Studios. So Victoria, why don't you tell us a little bit about your art?
I do primarily metalworking. I started in jewelry and I still do a lot of that, but I also do larger metal sculpture and works in copper and bronze. Most of my work is very figurative, primarily using the female figure. And I like to try and tell a narrative in my work, like about mythologies, or just kind of referencing different mythologies that revolve around women.
And you said that you also make larger pieces as well.
Yeah, well, this is kind of one of my largest pieces to date. I'm looking to do larger sculpture as well, kind of collaborative pieces, but this is about as big as I get right now.
And did you make your necklace as well?
I did make my necklace. It's a locket, so you pull the pin out of the top, and then you can open the doors, and you can see a figure kind of through the stone, which is cut out from behind out of silver. And there's little stones that are set in the hinges and in the pin. It's a piece that's very much for the wearer, which was an Art Nouveau tradition to make jewelry that was very much about the person who was wearing it. So there would be very decorative elements on the back or the lock of the piece. And so this one's called Temple. Mm-hmm. And I just like the idea of having a necklace that, in order to really understand it, you have to approach the wearer and they have to choose to let you see kind of the full effect of the jewelry.
And the curves that you use, which are very Art Nouveau, also kind of speak to the curves of the figures that you use in most of your pieces.
Yeah, I'm inspired by a lot of different and sometimes not always logical connections. Definitely the Art Nouveau movement, and I kind of see there's this way that people draw the human figure, from Mayans to Egyptians to Greeks and Romans to Art Nouveau. We have this style that looks like what we now call cartoons almost,
right.
Which I'm also inspired by, which I think maybe doesn't always come across so much in my work. Sometimes it does, but I like this simplified view where you can see kind of the curves and the contours, and you get the gesture of the drawing, and you get those muscles, but it's not fully realistic, that there's something kind of universal about the figure, which I think is why in older representations of the human figure, it was more basic, because we can understand it from just a more basic line drawing.
Right, and when you mentioned the cartoons, I thought immediately to your bow ties, the metal bow ties,
yes.
Which in a way are very cartoonish, but they're also almost like a very serious piece.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. Yeah, that's another one that's kind of fun. When I do ones that are not figurative work, I tend to make them elements that you can have that kind of bring you into that way. I mean, with the bow ties or like the big Play-Doh necklace, kind of just things that kind of bring you kind of a more cartoonish or more drawn look to yourself.
Right, so it's very playful, but it's also very wearable and really interesting.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having this time to talk to us, and